sozusagen nochmal eine Quintessenz dessen, was wir so eindrucksvoll erleben durften und eindrucksvoll vorgeführt bekommen haben. Ich habe nicht vor, nochmal die 4 Personen und ihre Gruppen vorzustellen. Das ist jetzt ein paar Mal geschehen. Und ich denke, wir nutzen lieber die Zeit. Ich weiß gar nicht genau, unsere Chefin Reinhard, Birgitta, wie lange haben wir Zeit? 20 Minuten? Ist das richtig? Ja. Die Zeit auszunutzen, um wirklich so viel wie möglich von Ihnen zu erfahren. Und ich würde gerne beginnen mit Al-Jumhuriya, mit dieser Gruppe aus Syrien. Wir haben so viel Schreckliches auch schon über den 10-jährigen Krieg in Syrien erlebt. Und der Krieg ist nicht geendet in einer Weise, wie man sagen kann, Gerechtigkeit hat gesiegt. Das kann man nicht sagen. Es ist ein moralisch sehr dubioses Ende und es ist auch deswegen ein Ende, wo man nicht weiß, wie aus dem Waffenstillstand ein Frieden werden soll. Das ist noch nicht klar. Ich möchte Sie gerne fragen, wie Sie es geschafft haben als Gruppe, die versucht, gleichsam eine bessere Wirklichkeit vor der Gewohnheit der Monstrosität der Verbrechen aufrechtzuerhalten, zu retten. Wie macht man es, dass man nicht die Hoffnung verliert? Wie bewahren Sie Hoffnung, um weiterzumachen?
No, thank you for this question. We got asked this question yesterday. And for me personally, I lived through the moment of 2011 in Syria. Most people nowadays, when they think about Syria, they immediately think about war, they think about tragedy, they think about need, they think about displacement, they think about despair. But I was lucky enough, I was 28, when a very inspiring and peaceful mass protest movement erupted in the country. And back then, if you had asked me just a couple of months before things happened, and there was already the Arab Spring, there was already a democratic movement, a peaceful revolution happening in Tunisia, in Egypt. I was in the US at the time, and people asked me, do you think the same thing is going to happen in Syria? And I said no, because people are so terrified of the regime that they will never be able to actually go out in the streets and demonstrate peacefully for freedom, for human rights. And then the Syrian people proved me and proved everybody else completely wrong. They got their courage, they went out in the streets and demonstrated for their rights, and they were not talking about, their older sort of tribal identities or old grievances or all of the fault lines that people usually, whenever they think about Syria, they think about, religion, they think about identity, they think about sectarianism. They were actually asking for universal human rights. I was lucky enough to have actually lived through that moment, and I consider Al-Jumhuriya to be a product of that moment. It was a new moment, a moment of birth for us as an organization, but also for Syrians. Syrians who love Syria not in the name of nationalism, but Syrians who love it in terms of citizenship, in terms of being part of a political community that defines itself in the name of freedom. And I think that we are keeping that battle going, and we try every time we bear witness, I talked about bearing witness yesterday, to all the unspeakable horrors that are continuing to happen in Syria. We also bear witness to the incredible resilience and persistence of Syrian people, not only in terms of succeeding as individuals in Germany or Sweden or in Beirut or in Turkey, but also in terms of how they continue to come together as journalists, as human rights defenders, as civil society activists, as gender activists, as queer activists, because the Syrian uprising was not just about politics, it sort of spread out to include all sorts of different things. And so we continue to also bear witness to that sense of hope, to that sense of activism, and to the persistent Syrian desire to actually be together and to hope for a better Syria. And so we continue to do that, and we see it. We work with not just journalists, but we also train journalists. And so every year we have a training program where hundreds of Syrians apply. And not only Syrians who have the privilege of living in Europe in freedom, but also Syrians using pen names applying from Damascus or applying from Aleppo or applying from Homs. And so that gives me hope, because I also myself wonder, now that I don't live in Syria, how are these people getting and mustering this courage to apply to our training programs, to want to have a career in journalism where, in a country like Syria, Syria is not just authoritarian. For me, Syria is authoritarian plus, where our dictator, Putin's puppet, is guilty of mass murder. Our prisons have been declared by Amnesty International as something akin to concentration camps, where death and torture happens on an industrial scale. And so, as a media platform, we remind people and we remind ourselves that that is the horrific reality of Syria, but at the same time, we also witness how, by doing what we're doing, and by doing these trainings that I was talking about, by building this community around Al-Jumhuriya, there are so many people, young people, who still want to actually get involved, who haven't decided to give up hope completely and decide that they better just either focus on their own personal salvation or just leave Syria and completely forget about, what Syria is going to look like in 10 years or 20 years. And so there's so much to be despaired for in Syria, but there's also so much to be hopeful for. And I just want to thank you for giving us this award, because that gives us the visibility and the persistence and the sense of recognition that my colleague Nasreen yesterday talked about, that is going to actually help us in this long battle and continue to inspire future generations in Syria to read Al-Jumhuriya, to apply for our training programs, and to become involved in our community and our battle.
Wenn ich Sie recht verstehe, gibt es ein Doppeltes. Es gibt gerade in all dem Schrecklichen, was Sie beobachtet haben, aber auch in der empirischen Gegenwehr, immer erneuten Gegenwehr, das, was Frau Romanova das immer grün nachwachsende Gras nennt. Es gibt da Verzweiflung, aber auch geradezu Indizien für Hoffnung und auch für Glauben. Also Glauben eigentlich an die Natur des Menschen, ganz supra alle Zeiten hinaus, dass sie immer wieder aufbegehren gegen Ungerechtigkeit. Aber auch, und jetzt wird es dann schwieriger noch, man braucht ja Foren, man braucht Öffentlichkeit, um den Menschen die Wahrheiten zu vermitteln und sie auch fähig zu machen, sich zu engagieren für das Bessere. Das ist zum Teil eine politisch-technische Frage. Wie kann das gehen? Nur aus der Diaspora heraus oder können Sie auch in Syrien für so eine Pluralität von Meinungen und von Auseinandersetzungen Raum finden und auch den Menschen in Syrien helfen, dass sie erkennen, wo, etwas pathetisch gesagt, Wahrheit und Unwahrheit ist?
I think an honest answer would be that for people inside Syria to be able to join our community, they are taking an incredible risk at the moment. And we have built sophisticated security protocols that starts from pen names to VPNs to what sort of security programs you need to upload on your computer to protect the identity of people who want to be connected to us. And, we ourselves feel that it's important for Syrians inside Syria to associate the cause for democracy and human rights with names and faces that they can actually look up to. And so visibility for us is important, but protecting their own safety and their own invisibility is also extremely important. But ultimately, a very, very honest answer would be that there can only be hope for Syria if there's a real, lasting, democratic transition in the country, where Assad is no longer part of the picture, and where a minimum respect for human rights. We all know that the democratic transition is going to be difficult. The country has gone through 10 years of civil war. There's so much that needs to be done, and there's so much that we need to learn from Germany in terms of, how do you actually put, people that are guilty of crimes against humanity, how do you pursue transitional justice, how do you move on, and how do you also do national reconciliation? But the only way we can actually begin to do that is if we see a real, lasting, democratic transition in the country in terms of who is actually in charge. And I say this because I know that nowadays the spotlight is on Ukraine, and we've talked about this yesterday, but I think there's a straight line connecting Syria to Ukraine, to Russia. My city, Aleppo, I come from Aleppo, was destroyed in 2016, not just by the barrel bombs of the dilapidated Syrian regime's military, but by the air force of Mr. Putin. And so if they are working across different countries, then the least we can do is for us to also work across different countries, and not to think of it as just now the Ukraine, so not so much Syria, or now is Syria, not so much Ukraine. We have to focus on everything at the same time, and our European allies need to know that this is not something that we ourselves or we alone can do. The Syrian war is no longer a Syrian civil war. It's an international proxy war, and a democratic transition in the country can only happen with Europe's support and with liberal democracy support all over the world. So I guess that's my answer.